All right, so we've got some AO help going on right here. I should have pulled up my other slides so that it actually looks like the help page. But the first problem we're going to solve is that top one, f divided by negative 3.2 equals 100th. So, as you know, another student was saying to me earlier, I find it hard to know what operation to use to solve these equations. So I'm actually going to give this a quick little header. Solving one-step equations. I'm going to abbreviate equations with EQS. So here's my paper right now, right? I gave myself a little header, solving one-step equations. And this is the equation that we have. The first thing that we need to think about in solving our equations is that we want one of the variable value. If it's multiplied by anything, it just needs to be multiplied by 1. If it's divided by anything, it just needs to be divided by 1. If we add or subtract anything to it, nope, we can't. So 0. We don't want to add or subtract anything to it. So what we really want is just a single value of f that we could write as f. Because 1 times f is f. F divided by 1 is f. Or whatever variable we're working with, which in this case happens to be f. So what we ask ourselves is what has been done? Why don't we have 1f? So we don't have just f, right? Because b/c is like a short way of because. So this is what you want to answer to yourself is why don't we have just 1f? And what could we do to fix that? So f over here is divided by negative 3.2. There are a couple ways to deal with that, but the easiest way that we know is to use the inverse operation. So this is one of those solutions where we will use inverse operations. And the inverse operation of division is multiplication. Right? So we are going to multiply by negative 3.2 on both sides. But really, when we do it on the left, we make it a fraction. And the reason why is because we will get negative 3.2 f over negative 3.2, and a number over top of itself is just 1. So that's going to give us our 1f. But the problem is, sorry if I put my pen in here, the zoom or the focus should stop kind of trying to refocus. I have to do it on the right side also. We can't just do an operation on the left side. So I have to also multiply by negative 3.2 on the right side. And 100th will actually make this number smaller by 2 decimal places. So it's going to become negative 0.032, I believe, if we did that multiplication right from up here. And then we could write just f, right, because we isolated our 1f, negative 0.032. Questions still on that problem? And my mic doesn't really pick you guys up. So if any of you dudes have questions on this, Mike won't pick you up, but my answer will then be in the video. I'm going to give you guys time to think about if you have questions on that, and I'm going to write down the next problem. Are you finding something to do? Or if you don't have math to do, you can go... Oh, did you? Okay. Let's do one more of these at least, because it's on my screen. Then I'll check for your problem. I'm a little confused by your computer being shut and your notebook being shut, though. So even if you're waiting on me to get to your problem, you should be working on something, right? So find something to work on for some class, even if you're waiting for me. So this problem is basically the same as what we had up here, right? The variables divided by some number equal to another number. The variable is divided by some number equal to another number. So since z is being divided by negative 6, there's no like other fractions involved. There's just a division, which we could call this a fraction. But really, there's just a division happening, no weird fractions or anything. So we kind of come back up here to the inverse of division is multiplication. So we are going to multiply by -6 because that's going to be the way that we can get to 1z. Now, when I do it on the right side, I have to do it on the left side. So we're going to put -7 in parentheses so we remember that it's multiplying. We're going to multiply by -6. Now I'm going to go ahead and work left to right, so I'm going to work this side first. A negative times a negative is going to be a positive because the opposite of a negative is a positive. So then 6 times 7, 7, 14, 21, 42. And then we would get -6z over -6. And again, a number over itself is just 1. So this is 1. Or if you want to use the CPM, the giant 1. Right? Because a number over itself creates a big 1. We just get that z is 42. As always, if we wanted to check it, we could set up the original problem, z divided by -6, except now if z is 42, we can do 42 divided by -6, and we would ask ourselves, does that equal what they told us it equals of -7? This math should work out to check and verify that z was a positive 42.